The world is full of stories. Some are whispered around fires, others are written in stone. And some tales of great and mysterious places seem to live on forever. One such tale is that of a magnificent island city, a place of great power and incredible wealth. It was a civilization at the very peak of its glory. But then, in a sudden and terrible cataclysm, it vanished. The island was swallowed by the sea. Its people were swallowed by the sea. All its wonders were swallowed by the sea. This lost place has a name that echoes through time: Atlantis. For centuries, this story has captured the human imagination, a puzzle waiting to be solved. In this exploration, we will follow a timeline of clues, from ancient words to modern science. It is a powerful symbol of our planet's hidden secrets and our own deep past. We will examine the evidence piece by piece, like detectives assembling clues from history. We will investigate the dramatic geological forces that shape our world. The journey is as much about the search itself as it is about the destination. The central question, of course, is whether Atlantis was a real place. A chapter of human history that remains tantalizingly out of reach, just beneath the surface of the waves. The story of Atlantis is a grand tapestry woven from threads of history, geology, archaeology, and human hope. Our journey begins in ancient Greece with a brilliant philosopher named Plato. He lived more than 2,300 years ago. It is in two of his famous works, dialogues called Timaeus and Critias, that the story of Atlantis first appears in written form. These are not history books in the modern sense. They are philosophical conversations. Plato describes a mighty island empire located beyond the Pillars of Hercules, the ancients' name for the Strait of Gibraltar, the gateway to the Atlantic Ocean. This is our foundational clue. He says the story came from an Athenian statesman, Solon. Solon heard it from Egyptian priests who kept ancient records. A circular island with concentric rings of land and water, formed by the god Poseidon. A city rich in resources, exotic wildlife, precious metals like orichalcum. The empire waged a great war against an ancient Athens, long before Plato. The tale ends in tragedy. Atlanteans became corrupt with hubris. Then in a single day and night, violent earthquakes and floods struck. The civilization sank beneath the waves, vanishing forever. But we must be critical. Plato was a philosopher, not a historian. He often used fictional stories or allegories. Many scholars see Atlantis as a moral, cautionary tale, warning about imperial ambition and moral decay. The central dilemma: was Plato a storyteller or a historian? While Plato provides the most direct and detailed account, the idea of a great flood or a sunken land is not unique to his writings. When we look at other ancient cultures, we find similar stories echoing across the globe. Many ancient mythologies contain a deluge myth, a story of a world-destroying flood sent by the gods. The Epic of Gilgamesh from Mesopotamia tells of a great flood. The Hindu scriptures describe the story of Manu, who is warned of a flood and builds a great boat. The Americas, Australia, Middle East, Asia. While they differ in details, they share a common theme: a cataclysmic water event that reshapes the world. Some researchers suggest these widespread stories may be a form of collective memory. They might be rooted in a real global event, such as the rapid sea level rise at the end of the last ice age. As glaciers melted, shorelines were submerged and lands where people once lived were lost to the sea. These traumatic events could have been passed down through generations, becoming the great flood myths we know today. Other classical writers after Plato mentioned Atlantis, often skeptically. Herodotus wrote of peoples and lands in the far west, but never named Atlantis. Some writers treated Plato's story as fact, while others, like Strabo, dismissed it as fabrication. The debate we have today was alive in the ancient world. The lack of any mention of Atlantis before Plato is a key point for skeptics. If such a mighty empire existed and fought a war with Athens, why did no other historian ever write about it? These ancient whispers are like faint echoes in a long corridor. They hint at something, but their source remains unclear. The next set of clues in our timeline does not come from pictures. For centuries, map makers tried to chart the known world. Their creations offer a fascinating glimpse into what people believed existed. After the rediscovery of Plato's works during the Renaissance, the idea of Atlantis experienced a powerful revival. Explorers ventured into the vast, unknown Atlantic Ocean. Cartographers began placing Atlantis on their maps. These maps were not just scientific documents. They were works of art and speculation. Real coastlines sat beside mythical islands and sea monsters. One famous example, a 1669 map by Athanasius Kircher. Kircher placed Atlantis squarely in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, positioned between Europe and the Americas. His map matched Plato's description, with the capital city at the center. Kircher's map became hugely influential. Other maps from this period show phantom islands in the Atlantic. High Brazil, Antillia, Isle of Demons. These islands appeared on maps for a time, then vanished as navigation improved. Did they represent real, now sunken lands, or were they navigational errors, sailors' tall tales? Before precise GPS, a navigator might mistake a cloud bank for land or miscalculate position. Once an island was added, cartographers often copied it, perpetuating the error. These maps are not proof of Atlantis' existence, but powerful evidence of belief in Atlantis and human hope for a more mysterious world. Our search now turns from ancient texts and maps to the very ground beneath our feet. The Earth is a dynamic and sometimes violent planet. Volcanoes erupt, earthquakes shake the land. Some of the most compelling evidence comes from geology and one event in particular, the colossal eruption of the Thera volcano. Today we know the remains of this island as Santorini, a beautiful crescent of land in the Aegean Sea, not far from Greece. Around 3,600 years ago, this volcano exploded in one of the most powerful eruptions in recorded human history. This event, known as the Minoan eruption, was apocalyptic. It blew the center right out of the island of Thera, causing the majority of it to collapse into the sea, forming a vast water-filled caldera. The eruption sent enormous plumes of ash and gas miles into the atmosphere, blocking out the sun and causing global temperatures to drop. It also triggered gargantuan tsunamis, waves perhaps hundreds of feet high, which radiated outwards and crashed into nearby shores. Living on Crete at the time was a sophisticated civilization known as the Minoans. They were a maritime people with a vibrant culture, advanced art, and grand palaces such as the one at Knossos. The Minoan civilization went into a sharp decline around the same time as the Thera eruption. Archaeologists have found evidence of tsunami damage at Minoan coastal sites and layers of volcanic ash from Thera. It seems highly likely that the eruption played a major role in the collapse of the Minoan world. A powerful, advanced island culture was devastated by a natural disaster. This is where the connection to Atlantis becomes truly tantalizing. Could the story of the Thera eruption be the historical seed that grew into Plato's legend? The parallels are striking. As technology advanced in the 20th and 21st centuries, the search for Atlantis moved from libraries and archives into the deep ocean itself. New tools gave explorers the ability to see beneath the waves in ways that were previously impossible. One of the most important of these technologies is sonar. Sonar, which stands for sound navigation and ranging, works by sending pulses of sound down to the seabed. By measuring the time it takes for the echoes to return, scientists can create detailed maps of the ocean floor, revealing mountains, canyons, and other features hidden in the darkness. For those searching for Atlantis, sonar offered the hope of finding the ultimate proof, the ruins of a sunken city. Over the decades, numerous expeditions have used sonar to scan areas proposed as the location of Atlantis. Santorini Strait of Gibraltar, Mid-Atlantic Ridge. Occasionally, these surveys have revealed intriguing shapes and patterns on the seabed. Some sonar scans have shown geometric forms, straight lines, circular patterns that look distinctly unnatural. These discoveries often generate great excitement, with news headlines proclaiming that the lost city may have finally been found. One such example is the discovery of what appeared to be man-made structures off the western tip of Cuba in the early 2000s. Sonar images revealed a series of symmetrical geometric stone-like shapes in very deep water. In another case, near the Bimini Islands in the Bahamas, divers found a formation of large, flat limestone blocks. Bimini Road. Some have claimed this is a remnant of an ancient wall or pier from a lost culture. While geologists argue it is a completely natural beach rock formation, the ocean floor is a complex place, and nature itself can create forms that mimic man-made structures. To date, not a single sonar anomaly has been definitively proven to be ruins of an advanced civilization like Atlantis. The search continues, but the deep ocean has not yet given up such a secret. In the modern era, the quest for Atlantis has branched out into a wide array of theories, each pointing to a different location on the globe. These theories range from the scientifically plausible to the highly imaginative, reflecting our enduring fascination with the mystery. One of the most mainstream and scientifically respected theories centers on the Minoan civilization and the eruption of Terra Santorini. It's anchored in a real documented archaeological culture and a known catastrophic geological event. It suggests the Atlantis story is a memory of a real Bronze Age disaster, magnified and embellished over time. Another compelling set of theories focuses on the location Plato actually specified, beyond the Pillars of Hercules. Researchers have explored the coast of southern Spain, looking for evidence of a lost city near the Donana National Park. Some have used satellite imagery and ground-penetrating radar to identify features that could correspond to a large ancient city wiped out by a tsunami. Proponents suggest a powerful Tartessian culture could have been the basis for the legend. Moving into more speculative territory, some theories propose truly radical locations. One idea suggests that Atlantis was Antarctica. This theory leans on ancient maps like the Piri Reis map, which some say show Antarctica's coast before the ice. The idea, a temperate land flash-frozen and buried under miles of ice. Mainstream science overwhelmingly rejects this. Geological evidence shows Antarctica has been frozen for millions of years. Other theories place Atlantis in the Bahamas, off the coast of Ireland, in the Caribbean, or even in South America. Each theory seizes on a detail from Plato, a type of rock, a specific plant, a geographical feature, and builds a case. The sheer number and variety of these theories show the story's adaptability. It acts like a mirror, reflecting each new generation of searchers. Plato's description is just specific enough to inspire searching, but just vague enough to fit almost anywhere. So what is the most likely truth behind this ancient legend? The most reasonable conclusion is that Atlantis, as described by Plato, did not exist as literal history. The lack of any physical or textual evidence from that period is simply too significant to ignore. However, the story likely echoes real events. The memory of the devastating Thera eruption, the fall of the Minoan civilization. Even with this likely explanation, people will continue to search for Atlantis. The reasons are deeply embedded in the human spirit. The story is simply too compelling to let go of. It speaks to our love of mystery and our desire for discovery. The oceans remain one of the last great unexplored frontiers. The idea that a magnificent secret could be waiting in the deep is irresistible. The search itself is far from a waste of time. It pushes the boundaries of science and technology. The quest has helped spur the development of underwater archaeology, sonar mapping, deep-sea exploration. In searching for one mythical city, we have discovered countless real shipwrecks, submerged ancient settlements. The search teaches us about geology, oceanography, how ancient cultures responded to changing environments. The journey truly is as important as the destination. In the end, Atlantis may remain a beautiful and powerful idea. It is a mirror of our hopes and fears, our fear of cataclysm, our fear of being forgotten, our hope for discovery, and a past grander than we imagine. The legend invites us to look with wonder, to question, and to keep exploring. That possibility is enough to keep the dream and the search alive for generations. Enjoyed this fact? Subscribe to Atlasio and discover more amazing world secrets every day.